The topic is exponent operations and expressions. The essential question is, how do you simplify and solve operations with exponents? So if you see something that looks like this, this right here, that little old 4, or whatever number that would be, that's right there, is called an exponent, or it can be called a power. The larger number that's down here is called the base. So right here, the 6 is the base, the exponent is 4. And there's a variety of ways that you can say this out loud. You could say 6 to the 4th power, 6 to the power of 4, 6 to the exponent of 4, or 6 raised to the 4th power. So when you say any of these, this is what it would look like when you write it down. And 6 to the 4th power, what that really means is you're going to multiply 6 by itself 4 times. So it would look like this when you expand it out. Okay? And well, when you go 6 multiplied by 6, that's 36. And then 36 times 6 is 216. And 216 times 6 is 1,296. So 6 to the 4th power is equal to 1,296. So if someone asks you, what is 6 to the power of 4? You would say 1,296. So when it's in this form right there, that's called exponential form. Okay, and you'll see a variety of possibilities or examples right down in this column. That's called exponential form simply because there is an exponent that you see visibly right there. When you expand it out like we've shown up here, that's called expanded form, okay? And then standard form or decimal notation is when you just write it like a regular old looking number, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and transform each of these in exponential form, show how they look when they're expanded, and then write them down in their decimal notation or standard form. These words are interchangeable, okay? Okay, so 2 to the 5th power would look like this. You're going to multiply 2 by itself 5 times. Okay? And you can kind of work it out. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32. So 2 to the 5th power is 32. At any time, please feel free to pause the video so you can check your answers. Or do it yourself and then check your answers. 3 to the 6 is multiplying 3 by itself 6 times. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, 81 times 3 is 243, 243 times 3 is 729. 5 to the 2nd power, or 5 to the power of 2. What's special about when it's raised to the exponent of 2 is you can say the word squared, okay? That's how how people will be saying it quickly. They'll say 5 squared instead of saying 5 to the 2nd power, 5 to the power of 2, 5 to the exponent of 2, or 5 raised to the 2nd power. When you see it like that, typically people are going to say, they're going to say squared. So this would be 5 squared. Okay? And this would look like this, expanded out. 5 times 5 is 25, so 5 to the 2nd power, or 5 squared, is 25. When there's a base raised to the exponent of 3, that's also a special one. 2 and 3 are basically the special ones. So when you see it raised to the power of 3, you could say cubed. So when I see this, 4 cubed, that's how you'd say it. So anything cubed is raised to the power of 3. 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 4 is 64. Okay, how would you say this one out loud? 6 squared. Six times 6 is 36. Okay, 1 to the 10th power. Here it is expanded out. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I didn't need that last little bit right there. Pretend that's not there. Okay, 1 to the 10th power is just 1. 7 to the 1st power. That just means multiply 7 by itself. Like that, 7 to the 1st power. And that's just 7. Okay, x to the 4th power. You're going to multiply x by itself 4 times. And we don't know what x is, so we're just going to keep it as x to the 4th power. All right, the next two look like they are exactly the same, but you'll see that the difference is where the negative is placed, okay? So when you see a situation like that, you're going to, take a second and kind of critically think about what is being displayed by that, all right? I'm going to show you both. So the number -3 to the power of 4 looks like this. You're going to multiply, you're going to take -3 and multiply it by itself 4 times. Okay? So -3 times -3 is a positive 9. Positive times a -3 is -27. -27 times a -3 gives me a positive 81. Okay? Now this one right here, this is what it'll look like. You'll notice that the negative is outside the parentheses. So let's go ahead and go 3 to the 4th power inside the parentheses. Okay, and we'll get that answer and then place a negative once you get the answer. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81, then make it negative. Okay, so go ahead and think for a second, what is the difference and how are they displayed, okay? And look at their different answers based on how we expanded it out. Okay, these next couple, you're definitely going to be seeing them in 8th grade. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give you a little preview. 4 to the -3rd power. All that simply is when you have a negative power, it would look like this. 4 to the -3rd would be 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. Okay? 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/64. Okay? Take a second and think about what 6 to the -2 power would look like. It would look like this. 1/6 times 1/6 is 1/36. Okay, 7 to the -2 power would look like this. 1/7 times 1/7, which is 1/49. I want to answer these questions in your summary. What is 7 to the 3rd power? What is 4 to the 2nd power? What's 6 to the 3rd power? And what's 1 to the 75th power? All right, it says solve these equations. So use what you know about exponents and solve these equations. You should pause the video, try it on your own. Here are the answers. Here's how to do them. 10 to the 3rd power. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. Minus 5 to the 2nd power, or 5 squared, is 25. 1,000 minus 25 gives me 975. 1 to the 5th power is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Minus 2 to the 3rd power. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Plus 6 squared is 36. 1 minus 8 is -7. Plus 36. -7 plus 36 is going to equal 29. Oh, here's one of those ones where it's got a negative power, so 3 to the -2 power would look like this. Okay? And then we would add to it 1/8. 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/9 plus 1/8. Oh, it looks like I should get a common denominator here. I have two fractions I need to add together. Okay? So 1/9, let's have a common denominator of 72. Okay, so 1/9, I'm going to multiply by 8 to get 72, so I multiply the numerator by 8. So 8 72nds is the same as 1/9. And then 1/8 let's see, multiply by 9 to get the 72. 1 times 9, okay? So 1/8 is the same as 9 70-seconds. So when I add those two together, I would get 17 70-seconds. And that does not simplify. Oh, this is weird. We remember the absolute value symbols? Okay, so 2 to the 4th, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. Take the absolute value of that, subtract. 6 squared is 36, so subtract the absolute value of 36. And this would be, absolute value of 16 is 16. Absolute value of 36 is 6. 16 minus 6 is 10. And that's, wait, no it's not. Oh, sorry. 16 minus 36, I'm sorry, is negative 20. Okay, I wrote that wrong. So absolute value of 36 is 36, okay? Okay, fun fact. Any number except 0 raised to the 0 power will always equal 1. And I'm going to prove it to you on a calculator, but if you're curious why this is true, they're definitely going to be explaining it in 8th grade. That's part of one of the 8th grade standards, okay? So 5,436 raised to the 0 power. Here's how you do it if you have this type of calculator. Write out the number, 5,436, and then this right here, this button right there, you're going to type down your base, and then you're going to press this to write down your power, or to type in your power. And we want it to the power of 0, and then you just press equals. It's 1. Okay, 10 to the 0 power, 1. Negative 7 to the 0 power, 1. 2 to the 0 power is also 1. Let me show you 1/3 to the 0 power. 1. This right here means fraction bar. 1/3 raised to the 0 power. It's 1. Okay. And an important thing that you need to know is any number except 0 raised to 0 power will equal 1. So what is 0 to 0 power? It doesn't work. Our calculator will probably say error. Yep. So just put nope. Okay? For your summary, I want you to answer these two questions. What is 2 to the 3rd power divided by 2 to the 3rd power? Write your answer right there. And then what is 4 to the 2nd power divided by 2 to the 3rd power? Write your answer right there.